Did you know that brand collaborations aren't technically over once you publish the content? You'll still want to let the brand know how you did with the campaign with analytics and reporting so that they hire you back as a repeat partner. Today, we're going to walk through all of the steps to properly wrap up a brand collaboration. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Austen and I am a fashion and beauty content creator based in New York City. I use this channel to help micro-influencers create great content, grow their digital brands, and earn sustainable income from content creation. So if any of that interests you, please do consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for new videos every Tuesday. I feel like one of the things that most people don't understand about content creation is how many hours it actually takes to produce just one piece of branded content. I have personally worked with dozens of brands in my 10 years as a micro-influencer, and I'm here to tell you it's never as simple as you think it is. There is the initial outreach and negotiation process with the brand, reading and redlining contracts, actually coming to an agreement, agreeing upon a concept, creating the content, going through revisions, actually posting the content, engaging with your audience after you post the content, and that doesn't even cover reporting and analytics. Today, I'm going to walk you through the steps that you should take after you finish a sponsored post so that you can impress the brand and have them ask you back for future partnerships. Let's get into it. The first thing you'll want to do as soon as you hit publish is make sure that all of your content is properly uploaded across platforms. So make sure that your Instagram stories are in order, make sure that all of the hashtags or any required tags that the brand asked you to post are working and clickable. Make sure that all of your spelling and grammar is correct, and make sure that if you needed to add the branded partner tag that you have done so and disclosed your brand partnership. You'd be surprised how often typos can slip in or things can get posted on the wrong platform or you grab the wrong file, and you just want to make sure before you do anything else that everything is as it was agreed upon between you and the brand. The next thing you'll want to do is email the brand with a link to your post and let them know that it's live. And I think a lot of influencers forget this step or don't do this, but the more I talk to my friends who work on the brand side, the more I realize how important it is. Because even if you've agreed upon a posting platform, the date that the post is going live, you still want to notify the brand when you actually post it, because there's a chance that you are one of dozens, if not hundreds, of influencers part of the brand campaign that you're working on. So the easier you make it for the brand so they don't have to go digging for your posts later on, or potentially miss your Instagram stories while they're live if that was part of your campaign deliverables, is just so helpful and makes their life easier. The next thing you'll want to do is set a reminder on your phone to screenshot your analytics at 23 hours. And I say 23 hours because Instagram stories expire 24 hours after you post them. So you want to give the content enough time to get to the full impressions that it's going to get, but you don't want to cut it too close to the time you actually posted it in case those story analytics disappear. You should also do this for any static posts or any, permanent content that is not disappearing like Instagram stories, because the brand will still want a sense of how it went in the first 24 hours. Once you have all of your screenshots, you can use the numbers in those screenshots to calculate a few metrics that the brand will definitely be interested in hearing about. The brand will likely want to know what was the engagement on this post, right? And the engagement is the total number of likes, saves, shares, and comments of your post divided by your total follower count and then multiplied by 100 to get that percentage. You can also calculate reach and impressions. Reach is the total number of unique accounts that viewed your post, and impressions is the total number of times your post was viewed, regardless of if it was a repeat account or someone's second time seeing the content. Being able to go back to the brand with these numbers is really important so that they can understand how your post performed in relation to how your content typically performs. I will say in general, sponsored content does perform on average a little bit lower than organic content. So that could be a great opportunity if your engagement rate was higher than usual to point that out to the brand. Once you have all of your screenshots and you've calculated the necessary metrics to report back to the brand and let them know how your post did, now it's time to share it with them. And I have done this so many different ways over the years. Some brands ask you to put your screenshots in a Google Drive folder. Others will have you upload it to a backend or particular content platform. But I've personally found that this honestly just leaves out a lot of details. It's really hard to paint an overall picture when screenshots are just kind of haphazardly flung in a Google Drive folder and there's really no context, and it gives the brand rep more work to do on the receiving end of that content. So while every brand is different and will ask for different ways to submit your content, one thing that I started doing in the last year that has been really well received by brand partners is actually compiling a campaign wrap-up report. This, of course, will require a little bit of extra effort, but I think it's worth it because you will really, really impress the brand when you do this. What I have done for several past brand collaborations is to take my screenshots and analytics, put them into basically a beautiful PDF document with additional insights like, how did my reach perform on this post? Or was my engagement above average? How was my click-through rate on my Instagram stories? And it really helps tell an overall story to brands, and very, very few people are doing things like this when they share metrics with brands. I think this is just such a great opportunity to get ahead, make a good impression, and have a brand really remember you and want to ask you back for future partnerships. So what I've actually done is taken my campaign wrap-up report and turned it into a digital download that you can all access. So you can grab my exact campaign wrap-up template and use it for your own brand partnerships. This template is fully editable within Canva, and it's super, super easy to use. All you need to do is drag and drop your screenshots into the frames that are already listed in the template, replace the text with your own insights, and save it as a PDF document. I've created the campaign wrap-up template in 5 different colorways. I tried to accommodate a few different styles, from more boho and natural to minimalist to really loud and colorful, but keep in mind, because this is a Canva PDF, you can actually customize it basically however you want. So if you already have your existing brand colors, you can purchase the template and change them once you're inside Canva. There are places to display both qualitative metrics like DMs and comments, and quantitative metrics like, of course, your total reach and impression numbers. And this genuinely helps you paint a full picture for the brand of exactly how the campaign went. I wanted to read you an email from one of my recent brand partners who I sent this campaign wrap up to. She said, "Oh my goodness, this little recap is amazing. I wish all creators would do this. Thank you times 10,000. Every brand that I've shared this with so far has given me positive feedback, and I wanted to create it as a digital template to share with you guys as well. I just feel like this is such an easy way to end your brand campaign on a high note, make them remember you for something good, because they'll think that it took you a ton of time to put this report together, when in actuality, all you really have to do is drag and drop in your screenshots and plug in your own insights and download it and send it off to them." I've created this as a product to make it super easy for you guys to wrap up your brand campaign reporting, so you can grab it from austentosone.com now, and I would love to hear what you think of it if you do choose to buy it. So the next step in your process of wrapping up the brand campaign is to share your campaign wrap-up report with the brand in whatever way you chose to do it, so making sure that you deliver them all of the analytics and metrics that they requested at the end of the partnership. I usually like to send this in a separate email to the brand outside of my normal chain of communication with them, just to kind of start fresh and keep it separated. And I will usually include both my campaign wrap-up report in there and also my invoice. If you have not already invoiced the brand at this point in your partnership, once you complete and post the content is a totally reasonable time to send them an invoice. If you want to learn more about the right way to invoice a brand and what an invoice looks like, I actually have a whole video here on my channel about how to invoice brands, so I will link it down below so you can go watch it next after you finish this video. And of course, be sure to include a thank you in this email that you're sending them with your wrap-up report and with your invoice. And the last thing that I would do, and I think this is really important for content creators to be proactive about, is to, the day that you send that invoice, set a reminder in your phone or put it on your Google Calendar to 3 months from that date, check in with the brand. I think that it's really great to make a habit of checking in quarterly with your brand partners to see what else they're working on, if there's anything new on the horizon, and mainly just ask if there are other ways that you can support them, because that'll keep you top of mind for brand partnerships if anything should come up within the next quarter. So I think this is a great way to maintain relationships with brand partners without having to go so far out of your way to check in with them. And you can even say, it's been 3 months since I last checked in. I just wanted to say hi, see what you guys have coming up in the next few weeks, and I'd love to be kept in mind for any future partnerships. Being on top of this will really set you apart and, again, make you one of those creators that brands will think back on working with and say, yeah, they were great. We should have them back again. That just about wraps it up. I think I covered everything from the moment you hit publish all the way up through making sure to reach out afterwards to keep up that relationship with that brand partner and hopefully have them re-sign and hire you again as a content creator. So that was a lot of information. Please let me know if you have any additional questions about this process. Leave them in the comments down below. I always do my best to read and respond to as many of those as I am able to. And again, if you're interested in purchasing the campaign wrap-up template, that is on my website, austentosone.com. It really just makes the whole process so much easier, and what a great way to win over a brand. Thank you for watching today's video. If you're not already, I would love to have you as a subscriber to my YouTube channel, so please consider subscribing by hitting the red button down below, and you can also turn on the notifications so that you get notified each and every time that I upload a new video. And please give me a thumbs up down below if you found this helpful. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!